Oh look, a new email from Amazon. I wonder what they want me to buy today. Looking for something in adventure stories and action? Always. What the fuck? Okay, so this is a problem. How can I expect readers to know what I've written when the people who publish my books don't even know? It seems to me there's only one possible solution to this conundrum. It's time for one of these.
Previously on
Domanska. 'Tis the year 861 AS, and the Emperor Coron of Lucia has conquered most of the West. Only a handful of Polonia's city-states still resist, championed by the city of Dinara. As a warrior society centered on duty and loyalty, the Dinarans are making for a far sterner test than Coron ever imagined. Yet realizing success in Polonia hinges on defeat of Dinara, Coron gathers all of Lucia's forces to himself and launches a final offensive on Dinara. The war does not last long. Despite the Dinaran king, Caraborn, organizing a formidable defense of his beloved city, eventually Dinara falls, and the rest of Polonia along with it. Yet this is just the beginning of our story, for in the days leading up to the invasion, Caraborn was born a secret son and heir. The boy, whom the prophetic servants of the goddess of war named the Ember Child, was secreted away and taken into hiding. He is tasked with somehow returning to his homeland, igniting the fires of rebellion, and leading his people to freedom. For anyone else, it seems an impossible task, but for one of the gods' bane, it is merely the beginning. Now, she ain't pretty, I'll grant you that.
You one ugly motherfucker.
But this was my first foray into the world of self-publishing, and I still held to the naive belief that most folk don't judge books by their covers. And it seemed to me that what she might lack in looks, she more than made up for in personality. I hoped that would be enough.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Apparently not, judging by the sales to date. The Ember Child is book one of a planned trilogy which I'm calling the Godsbane Saga. However, I think it holds up pretty well as a standalone. The main idea behind the Godsbane Saga was to write a trilogy of novels that tells the story of three main characters caught in a trifold conflict. Each book is going to focus on a particular side of the conflict, and by the end of the series I'm hoping readers will be torn between which side they're on. To that end, the Ember Child focuses on Halasan and the Dinaran side of the conflict, as he sets out on a quest to return home and reclaim his father's throne. If I had to describe it as anything, I'd say it's something akin to Star Wars A New Hope.
Hello there.
Meets 300.
This is Sparta!
We're a plucky band of heroes after facing an unstoppable force in an effort to rid themselves of tyranny. Only in this world, the plucky heroes belong to a brutal society where they have been forged for war from childhood. It's probably worth mentioning at this point that I have learned the lessons of the cover, and the Ember Child is set to receive a facelift and a fresh edit to boot. More details on that will follow in a future video. For now, with readers hard to come by, especially those willing to give an incomplete series a go, I decided to focus on a couple of standalone stories. The main reason being to add a bit of depth to the Domanskan library, while hopefully encouraging new readers to give an unknown writer a chance. So, while the war in the West has begun, our attention turns further east, to the frost-bitten wilderness of the Basilian Plains. Wolfeater tells the story of Radek, the adopted son of a Basilian tribe called the Grey Crow. They are a nomadic people, and they survive the harsh landscape by raiding their neighbours. While the colour of Radic's skin marks him apart in this broken part of the world, he has endeared himself to his new people and earned the reputation of a man to be feared amongst his enemies. He has served the gods of the tribes as faithfully as any man, so when he finds himself inflicted with a deadly disease, Radic wants to know why. Why? He sets out on a dangerous quest to cross the White Waste, make his way to the sacred Blackstone, and stand before his gods. With him goes the blind 8-year-old girl long held in his care. In her blindness, Inyana's other senses have been honed to such a degree that she has developed a greater bond with the gods than most, and she has her own questions for them. But Radic and Inyana are not alone on the road north. Their journey spits in the face of everything the Grey Crow holds sacred, so the tribe's elders dispatch a hunting party to put an end to the adventure. They are led by Talak, priest of the gods bearing a dark secret, and Jian, a great hunter who owes Radic her life. Then there is Senyan and Mikolov, two of the Valor, known as the Wolves to the Grey Crow, who seek revenge against Radic for killing one of their own. They will do everything they can to stop the Wolf Eater reaching his goal, but should they fail, it might just change the destiny of the Grey Crow, and, with it, the fate of the world. So the story of the Wolf Eater is a lot smaller in scope than The Ember Child. It's focused on a much more personal journey. But it's no less captivating for all that, and even after it was finished, I still wasn't ready to move on. Thus was born Tales from a Domanskan Fireside. I'd had it in mind for a while that I wanted to try my hands at short stories, but I wasn't quite sure of the form they should take. Then I reread a scene in Wolf Eater where one of the characters is studying the scars of another and remembering how they happened. And
bingo. Dino DNA.
I thought exploring those memories in a bit more detail would be a great way to build on the character's backstory and explore more of the world and its cultures. And what better time to tell stories and reflect on past events than when you're sitting around a fire, with the dark and the cold closing in.
Do you not wish to warm yourself by my fire?
Now there are a couple of themes I find I can't escape with my writing, and that they certainly fed into this. They are, 1, it's very rarely about good and evil. Conflicts are usually not so black and white as all that. It's more often shades of grey.
Christian Grey.
Not that kind. After all, we're the heroes of our own stories. And I want my writing to reflect that. And number 2, every person we meet has history. Like the rest of us, they've experienced successes and failures, victories and defeats, joy and grief. Those experiences are all part of their journey, helping to shape who they are. For some reason, that's something I think about whenever I read about someone dying, especially in this day and age with all the chaos in the world. I think about all the experiences that went into making that one person, and how quickly it can be snuffed out. And that's an idea I like to explore in my writing as well. That's why I wanted to make these short story collections about the other characters, not the stars of the main show. The ones you might catch a glimpse of and think, oh, I'd like to know more about them. You know, someone like, I don't know.
I will be your champion.
And all of those ideas led me to one beautiful night before Wolf Eater begins. There are 2 fires that night, one for either side of the forthcoming conflict. In the scars of Jorn Redclaw, the Grey Crow are sharing a fire in the wilderness, where Jorn, the Wolf Eater's oldest friend, relives the memories of his greatest scars. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, we join Velemir, one of the Valor, as he reflects on the trophies mounted on his cabin wall, revisiting the memories of those glories gone. Whilst these 2 characters live in very different worlds, the reader can see the stories overlapping and interweaving until there's no escaping the inevitable conclusion.
It ends the way it ends.
And that brings us up to date. From here on out, Domanska is all blank pages. So please do me the honour and click on the like and subscribe buttons and join me on the journey to filling these pages in. And until the next time, keep your sword sharp and your wits keen.